What's up, guys? Welcome to Pizza and Chill with Lisa and Camille. Today we have Charlamagne the God.
That rhymed. That's how you know it's about to be a good show. When you start off rhyming, Pizza and Chill with Lisa and Camille.
It was meant to be.
Ooh.
And you know what I told you when I went on your podcast, Brilliant Idiots?
Yep.
After that, we were just chit-chatting, and you're like, you need a podcast, Lisa. And I was like, nah, I don't know. And now we have a podcast together, and you're
what
on
made
it.
y'all finally do it?
Well, okay, since I met Lisa, I mean, of course she's beautiful, so it's like a given that she's a model, but I couldn't believe that she didn't have like a talk show or something. Or
You couldn't believe she was smart because she's pretty?
Yeah, I mean, it's a skill set, I'm telling you. I meet so many beautiful girls, and there's just like no personality there. So when you have
Oh, thank you, Camille. You're so
both,
sweet.
I've told you that before.
Yeah, no, I know,
truly
but still.
believe it about her.
I think because some people are just so superficial, all they can think about is themselves.
Yeah.
So when all you can think about is yourself, that's what you're, engulfed by. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So
Can't
when
talk
you're
about
not thinking
anything
about
else.
yourself, then you're thinking about everything else, and then you can actually have smart, civilized conversations.
Right.
Well, then their ego is running their content, so it's like they're so worried about what they look like instead of just putting themselves out there.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's so funny you said that because I said this morning that ego, vanity, and validation is going to be the death of this era.
Agreed.
Do you think that's because of Instagram?
It's absolutely because of social media. Like I was reading this story this morning about this kid in London. His name is Chris something, and he's getting plastic surgery because he wants to look like how he looks on Instagram.
Snapchat?
Oh,
Oh,
Yes.
God. Oh,
Yes.
God.
And there was a doctor who was saying that kids come in there all the time with their pictures, from Snapchat, from Instagram that are all filtered out.
Everybody
and
wants to look like a
Facetune,
Snapchat filter.
And they're like, yeah, I want to look like this.
It's so sad.
It's beyond sad. Social media is creating a generation of socially awkward people. Like they don't know how to
Yeah.
have conversations. They don't know how to look nobody in the eyes and just talk. Like all they know how to do is this and wait for the reply.
Yeah, like when we were kids, I mean, you go and hang out with your friends. That's the
Yes.
only social interaction you have.
The worst thing is when someone's so chummy with you on Instagram, comments, oh my God, Slay, you look amazing, love it, whatever, and they're DMing you and you see them in person, they're like, hi.
Yes.
I'm like, wait, hold up. I thought we were cool. Like, I thought we were friends.
You know,
Like,
that's
it's weird.
That's why I tell kids now, like, they be like, yo, what's the cheat code? What's the secret? To success. I'm like, just look up.
Yeah, really.
At this moment, just look up.
Yeah.
Everybody's looking down at their phones. Just look up.
Yeah,
You'll figure it
relationships
out.
are everything, and if you don't have relationships with people, then you can't you can't be successful without like genuine relationships. I think, and then
100%.
without with Instagram makes everything so like superficial. It's hard for you to get to get put on basically.
Yeah, and you'll never have confidence. Like when you talk about you meet people,
Yeah.
and they don't have anything to say, it's because they don't have no self-confidence. And it's like, how do you teach a generation of kids self-confidence when all of their worth and their value comes from the opinions of other people? Like they
Yeah.
don't feel validated
Right.
unless somebody is telling them, "Oh, you look good. Oh,
Yeah.
you look nice." You know what I mean? "Oh, I didn't get 1,000 likes on this pic."
Right,
but
right.
you only need one like in life, and that's the like you have of yourself. Do you
Yeah.
genuinely like yourself? If you like yourself, everything else falls into place.
Yeah, that's true. Do you allow your daughters to have Instagram?
Hell no.
Okay, that's good.
My oldest daughter's 10. My second daughter is 3. My other daughter's 7 months.
Oh.
And my 10-year-old has a smartphone, but like I only give it to her when she is out somewhere, like if she's at cheerleading competition
Right,
or
right.
something
Oh,
like
cute.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
But no social media, none of that stuff, because I tell her the same thing. The advantage you will have over all of your peers is they're too busy looking down, you'll be looking up. I told her that when we was at her cheerleading competition like last year. I said, yo, just look around at all your friends. Look how stupid they look. In a circle,
phones, yeah.
and everybody's just on their phone. And
That's
later on
true.
that day, she was like, yeah, you were right. I said, about what? She was like, they did look stupid. I'm like, who? Because I forgot what I told her.
Yeah.
And then she was like, they was all looking down at their phones. Nobody
Yeah.
was talking to each other. And I'm like, yeah. So she saw that. So she doesn't even have the desire to be on it like that.
That's
She's not a
amazing.
teenager yet, though. Just wait.
But I think that if we instill the habit of her not being on it early,
Yeah.
then she won't have a desire to.
Yeah, and then she won't feel like she has to do what every other Instagram model is doing. I know that's funny coming
Absolutely.
from me because I'm like a model that has an Instagram, but like I wouldn't want my 10-year-old to look at my Instagram because she's gonna think that she needs to post like makeup selfies and stuff, which is not what you want your daughter doing.
Yeah, and imagine y'all had to go through Instagram. I mean, be on Instagram going through puberty.
Oh,
Oh,
my
yeah.
god.
Like that's an awkward phase, regardless. I used to wear
Yeah.
glasses and fanny packs, like
I saw your pictures.
Yeah, in sixth
The
grade.
glasses, yeah.
Like, but things happen. Like you get online going through puberty, and people clown you, and then you never recover from that. And you wonder why these kids are killing themselves at such a young age. Like,
Yeah, that's
Jesus.
so true. Because I didn't have Instagram in the 6th grade, and I still remember like being bullied and stuff. And it still like doesn't affect me, but like things that were like said to me at that age, like I can be like, oh, okay, I see where that insecurity comes from. Like when someone told me like I was annoying and I talk too much. Now sometimes in situations I just try not to speak, or I purposely try not to be annoying. If you ask her, even if I'm like tidying up here, I'm like, is it annoying you that I'm tidying up? And she's like, no, why? I'm like, oh, because that comes from being told I was annoying when I was younger. So I imagine if I had Instagram and somebody was telling me like, oh, you have a unibrow and your teeth are big, then it would be worse. Like my adult self would have like more issues.
Wherever y'all post this podcast, there's gonna be a bunch of comments saying, Lisa, you're annoying and you talk too much. You know that?
That's okay.
That's what trolls do. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Oh God, I feel like you have it the worst with the trolls.
Oh, 100%. But I don't. I'm not lying. It did bother me for a second because after a while, at first it doesn't bother you.
Yeah.
But then when it's like anything else, if it's every day and constant and consistent, eventually you will start believing some of this nonsense.
Do you delete comments?
No, I don't delete.
No, he
comments.
responds to comments. I don't know if you see that. Sometimes you do.
Yes.
You're like, you didn't even read that shit. Shut up. Like you didn't even listen to what I said, or you didn't even fully.
Because you can tell.
Yeah.
You can tell by their comment if they actually, engaged in what it was you were saying. Let me try the pineapple and onions. If you're gonna do it, right? Yeah. Let me take a look. There you go. Plus, pineapple is good for you. Well,
Yeah, that's what I hear.
Yes.
Don't even say it.
I'm not.
I knew it.
See? Oh my God.
Is it good?
Hell yeah.
It has truffle oil on it too.
What is this?
That one has truffle oil?
Yeah.
My God.
Oh my God.
You know, I didn't eat pizza for mad long because they used to call me and they used to say I look like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
Shut up. They used to say.
Yeah, so I didn't want to buy into the stereotype of looking
I
like a
think I
Ninja
saw
Turtle
that
and eating
once.
pizza. I'm serious.
Every time I see a meme with you in it, I like want to. I'm like, he's already seen it. I just want to like forward it to you on Instagram, but I don't. And there's like kind of mean. The trolls really get.
I like good jokes. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to laugh at yourself. My God.
Is it that good? I need to try that one.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just vegan.
Maybe because I don't eat pizza too often. This is banging.
I didn't read your book, but I've like watched a million interviews about it. Does the Instagram contribute to like your anxiety? Like the comments, does it make it worse?
Social media in general, it definitely does. Only because we live in this era where nobody cares about the truth and the lies more entertaining. And it's just like when something starts on social media, like there's no stopping it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah. And then you find yourself responding to people because you're like, that's not even accurate. You know what I'm saying? Or like you didn't even read or watch what it is that you're complaining about. But then after a while, it's almost like trying to put toothpaste back in the tube.
Yeah, there's no way to like remedy or do damage control
can't.
because of social media.
You can't put out all them fires. So after a while, it's just like you really got to be on some fuck it type shit. Like I've always felt like I had a fuck it type attitude until I actually did start caring, and then I'm like, why do I care so much? And that's when I really felt like I was losing control because I'm like, why do I care about the opinions of these other people so much?
They're trolls. They have like no profile photo. They're like, could be anybody. Could be your aunt. Could be like a stranger. Like not really your aunt, but you know what I mean.
It honestly, it doesn't matter. And I said to myself, I said, yo, I mean, I'm 40 now, but at the time when you're in your 30s, like, yo, imagine how these kids feel. You know, if I'm a grown ass man with a whole family, a great life, and this is bothering me in some way, imagine how these kids feel. I saw that last week with Aisha Curry.
Oh my God, that got taken so out of context. What are your thoughts on it?
I felt bad for her because it wasn't even so much what she said about, wanting attention from other guys. It was more so that this young woman who has a great family, who has a great husband, a man who actually loves her, still wants the validation from other people. And it was just another reflection of the era that we live in, where everybody is always seeking constant validation from people that don't even give a damn about them.
Yeah, and it truly does not matter, like what they think.
It don't matter at all. It's like if she woke up every day with Steph and Steph is telling her, yo, you're the most beautiful girl in the world. I love you. I care about you.
Yeah.
If a bunch of dudes was calling her ugly, the first thing she would say is, well, my husband thinks I'm beautiful.
Yeah.
So that's just all that should matter is what he believes at the end of the day.
Right, because at the end of the day, what these other dudes are doing or not doing doesn't like affect your kids, take money out of your pocket, or affect your marriage. So like, I see what you mean, but you're right. But it's also not her fault that she wants to be validated because of just like the era that we're in.
That's it.
And who her husband is.
And that's what Like, even when she said, like, yo, all these women are throwing themselves at Steph. They not throwing themselves at Steph because Steph is some, super
Sexy,
good-looking
yeah.
guy. They're throwing him at because he's Steph Curry, because he's a three-time world champion in the NBA, a superstar. Like, they're grouping out over Steph. Like, they're not. It's not a desire thing. Like, you know what I mean? That's just the era we live in, where there's just a bunch of people who trip out over celebrities. If Aisha Curry was a huge celebrity, they'd be tripping out over her too. So it's just like, yo, really, you're not missing anything at all. But it just made me sad, because I'm like, man, yo, we really have to get out of this era, or this desire to constantly seek validation from people that do not matter. Because if you give those people the power to build you up, they got the same power to break you.
Yeah, that's
you
so
know,
true.
I'm not giving nobody that power.
Right. So how do you think, what's the remedy then for this generation? Is there one? Is it getting worse because there's like more and more platforms popping up, or are we just like doomed? Is this, I don't know.
I really don't know. Because I don't know how you instill, confidence in a person. Like, I feel like your first, last, and best love should be self-love, right? But how do you tell somebody to love their self when, they put all the power of how they feel about themselves in the hands of other people?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, they won't allow themselves to love themselves if somebody else isn't telling them you're worthy of that love. Like, so it's weird. I really don't know how do you instill confidence in these kids, because they're born in the generation of needing constant validation and approval from other people.
Right, yeah. And the Instagram is now testing out like removing likes, and I wonder if that will help. I think it'll help, because sometimes that even bothers me. I'll post like an ad and I'm like, oh, this shit was trash. Like, it only got like
that caption wasn't fire. Nobody cares.
I'm like, it didn't get like enough interaction for the brand to be happy about it,
Well,
like,
I
it affects
think
me, and I'm
people
a grown
like
woman.
Jamila are coming forward now, and I mean, she's someone to look up to. She's kind of like very outspoken about all of these subjects, like with the fit tea stuff and everything.
I do this show called Emerging Hollywood on the Hollywood Reporter, and I interviewed her.
great.
Now she is really dope. Just the fact that she's speaking out against it. And the fact that she's pretty.
Yeah, she's beautiful, and her accent makes her brings her up like notches too. Which
And
is
a
just,
great actress, great
just
personality.
everything. I'm like, wow, you're a real person.
People take it serious when it comes from somebody like her. Because if she was a cosmetically challenged individual,
They'd be like, you're hating.
they'd be like, you're hating. You know what I mean? But when it comes from a beautiful woman, and she's saying like, yo, y'all are wilding with the flat tummy tees, and y'all are, giving out these unattainable, pictures of perfection that people are trying to reach.
Yeah.
Like, when you hear it from her, you have to think about it a little bit more. So you're right. She is doing a great job.
I'm guilty of promoting those teas like years ago. And it's good if I had someone like her to listen to where it's like, this is wrong. I didn't think there was anything wrong with it. I'm like,
I
it's a
tried
tea.
those, by the way, after seeing ads on Instagram. I'm like, let me just try this. Broke out in hives everywhere.
Ew,
Jesus
really?
Christ.
Yeah.
That didn't happen to me. I did drink them. It didn't like do anything crazy to me, but I am guilty of like that, which is like embarrassing.
Did it work for you?
I mean, it just it makes you not bloated, but it
It's
doesn't
like
make you
drinking
look like
herbal
Kim
tea.
Kardashian. It doesn't.
You go to a grocery store and you buy herbal tea, and it's like
It
the same
doesn't
exact
make
thing.
you have a six pack or make you into like a supermodel. It
Oh,
just,
we know that. I mean, if there was actually a remedy that did that, I would have been drinking it. I'm serious. If I could just drink a tea and get a six pack, who wouldn't do that?
Right. But her point is, I think that like they're saying, oh, I look like this in this like bikini or in this sports bra and shorts because I've been drinking this tea, which
Yes.
is so not true.
It's bullshit.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the other thing too, though. It's like, yo, you'll never truly be happy because there are these unattainable pictures of perfection out there. It's like you're really like the dog chasing his tail. Like, you'll never catch it. Like, you'll never truly be happy. Like, it will never happen because all of these people's lives are filtered. Like, y'all know Pastor Stephen Furtick? Mm-hmm. Stephen Furtick, he said to me one day, he said, this Instagram is everybody's highlight reel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so true.
And he was like, yo, everybody else is living their real life, but you're comparing your real life to everybody's highlight reel.
Yeah, we were just talking about that. We're like, all these people are like, look like they're in such happy marriages and relationships sometimes, and then you meet them and they fight like hell, and I'm like, what just happened?
Or maybe they overpost to overcompensate, where it's like the people that keep their love life a little more private actually have found like the happiness.
Yeah. I mean, and somebody was saying to me the other day, they were talking about how these kids are always saying they're bored, and they don't understand why these kids are so bored because they got all of these different outlets and platforms to be on, and you got the world in the palm of your hand. The reason they're bored is because they're really not doing anything.
You're sitting down. I could be on my phone for 4 hours and be like, oh my God, it's 7 p.m.
Yes.
Yeah. It's crazy.
You're literally not doing anything. You're just wasting time. So it's no sense of fulfillment.
Right.
You know, when you're not bored, it's when you're doing something that you feel is actually fulfilling you.
Right.
Like nothing they're doing is fulfilling them. That's why they're always constantly bored.
No, you know what they say? Boring people get bored.
That is true. I told my daughter that. My daughter be like, I'm bored. I'm like, that's because you're boring. You know what I mean?
Change your personality.
Yeah, I'm like, yo, go read a book or something. Like, you go write. Like, because, you know, she's in the writing, she's in the reading. Yeah, like, go find something to do. Like, and also, kids like to say they're bored when they're not doing exactly what they want to be doing.
They want to be
in
at the trampoline
moment.
park.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like,
Exactly. We're not doing that today. So find something else to do.
Why don't you post your wife? I know that for obvious reasons, but we're just on the topic. What are your specific reasons where you're like, people come at you all the time. Is it because you're protecting her and you don't want people to like recognize her and come for her and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like, early on, it was more just like safety reasons. I'm like, yo, people
trying to
jump me in the street. You know, what's the next best thing? Jump the person that you know is closest to her, or do something to her. I mean, that's just the way my mind thinks, coming from a certain environment, coming from the hood. Like, I just think that way.
I think like that all too. And plus, your anxiety probably contributes to like,
absolutely.
oh my God, they're gonna find her. Like,
but also, she's not that type person. You know, that's not her thing. And like, I don't ever want to bring my people into my world. Like, this is what I do. Like, I'm at home, I'm Leonard McKelvey. I mean, every day I'm Leonard McKelvey, but this is Charlamagne's world. So it's and also, like, anything that you really care about, I don't think you should put on social media.
Yeah.
Like, if you really care about something, because you know what people are going to say. You know people going to shit on you.
Yeah.
You know people going to talk shit about her, but they're only doing that to get at you.
Right.
So why do that and then get upset? Like, I think it's the weirdest thing in the world when people post their kids online.
Oh my
post
God.
their moms online.
Or their pregnant bellies.
Or their pregnant belly.
That
And then-
kind of freaks me out a little bit.
But then people talk bad about it and then they get mad. Well, you put it out there.
Yeah.
You know, you put it out there for public consumption. I don't want my family to be consumed by the public.
I think that's pretty cool that she's not like nagging you to post her. I mean, she's
Oh,
not like one
never.
of those people.
She truly does not care, right?
Yeah.
She's just like,
She just, like, loves
you
you.
guys are in a mature, you've been together for over 20 years, right?
Yeah, and
So she doesn't care.
And and the funny thing is, she has an Instagram.
She don't post you?
I don't think so. I don't go on it, and it's weird because like I'll post like a picture of one of my homegirls. It'll be her birthday, right? And she's like, you don't never post your wife, and your wife must be. How does your wife be so cool? I'm like, because those are her friends too.
Oh, right. It's a mutual friend. You're not posting pictures of women that she has no idea who they
Absolutely.
are.
And if you saw my wife, then you notice you might see her all the time on those other pages.
Right, but you don't know it's your wife.
You just don't know it's my wife. So it's like it's like my homegirls, when they're together, they take pics, you know, and they post to do whatever they do. But if you know her, you know. If you don't, you don't. And I'm not. That's just something I'm not ever going to broadcast.
Yeah, like,
You
right,
know?
right. Just because safety reasons.
Yeah, not only just safety reasons, I just feel like things that you care about, I'm not giving anybody the opportunity
Right.
to shit on that and piss me off.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people are always going to come for your wife.
Always.
If they're trying to get to you. Yeah.
just for no reason. Like, I remember the Shade Room. I don't know if it was the Shade Room or not, but we was walking out of SNL one day, and somebody caught a picture of us. And so Shade Room posted it.
You're
and
like,
it's
oh,
like,
fuck.
you know, it was mad comments saying how she's so pretty, she's so pretty, she's so pretty. But then it'd be like one comment, she got some big ass hands.
Oh no.
Stupid. And then you
So
get tight. You're like,
random.
my baby don't have big hands. Don't say that about my girl.
Exactly. So it's just like, I'm not even putting myself in that position. I know what makes me
Right.
upset.
Yeah, no, of
You
course,
know?
that would make me upset. And you definitely never posting your daughters then.
Never.
Yeah, that's out of the
Nah.
question.
I mean, when she gets old enough and she got her own Instagram and she can handle it, and that's what she wants to do at 18, 19, whatever.
She's got to wait till she's 18 to have
Yes.
Instagram.
No, we really should treat Instagram like cigarettes.
Oh, okay.
You shouldn't be able to, you can't buy cigarettes till you're 18, and it's the same thing with social media. I was reading this book. It's this great book called Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport. And he starts the book off talking about a whistleblower from the tobacco industry.
Okay.
And how the whistleblower was talking about how addictive cigarettes are and how these companies market, you know, cigarettes, even though they know that they're addictive, and they was saying how the tobacco companies want your lungs. And then like he fast forwarded to like 20 plus years, 20, 30 years, and he was talking about a Silicon Valley whistleblower. And he said the Silicon Valley whistleblower and the tobacco whistleblower sounded exactly the same when they were describing how to market the product of social media as well as the product of tobacco. And he said that the social media people want your mind and your soul. Yeah. Tobacco people wanted your lungs.
Yeah.
So it's just like if we know something is that addictive and we know something is that detrimental, then why are we just allowing kids to have it so early?
That's such a good point. I've never thought of that.
Yeah.
Because I know like 10 and 9-year-olds have Instagram and like
it's not worth it.
Basically, her stepdaughter has Instagram.
It's so disheartening. Like, I follow all of her friends because they're always over at the house. I follow, like, 12-year-olds, and they're posting, oh, my God,
like bikini
so
pictures
disturbing.
and stuff.
Bikini pictures?
They're posting bikini pictures. No, but they're, like, sexualized. They're, like, the second, they turned 13, and now they're starting to do, like, the booty, and, like, they have boobs and bathing suits.
And I read that, like, the Bill Gates of the world and the Warren Buffetts, they don't let their kids get on social media.
Smart.
I feel like we have only so much mental energy, and imagine you just exhaust that looking at like selfies and like memes. Like you can't have no desire to read.
Well, people like Warren Buffett, their kids, you know, they have to watch out because anyone can see their stuff and put it against Warren Buffett. Like,
no, very true. Very true. And I have these phone cases I bought for my wife and my oldest daughter, and the phone cases say social media is bad for your mental health. And I really, truly feel that way. You know what I mean? I feel like it's giving a bunch of kids anxiety. It's giving a bunch of kids PTSD, especially if you end up getting attacked on social media. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's making kids depressed.
Yeah.
You know, it's giving kids body dysmorphia issues. Like it's just doing all type of things that are like bringing your energy down and ruining your mental health. So I think that we got to really, really be, cautious with that when giving it to these kids, because it's already tough enough. Think about when we were young and that age and just growing into ourselves. We didn't have to do it under the scrutiny of the whole world. Like we just had to deal with people in our house, school, people in your neighborhood. That's it. Yeah. These kids really have to do this in front of the whole world. Think about these little kids who end up being memes.
That's bad.
You know what I'm saying?
Or these stupid challenges, like the cheese challenge, like throw cheese at your baby's face. That got me tight. I'm like,
God.
If anyone throws cheese at my nephew's face, like it's really not going to be a good thing because it's degrading the baby.
It's very degrading to the baby. We have not truly seen the effects of social media on our generation. We'll see it in like the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
Because I always say, like, people talk about, generations, and they be like, oh, a generation is a lifetime. Like, no, a generation to me is like 5-10 years.
Well, it's also cell phones, too. Like, I got my cell phone when I was 14. We don't know the long-term effects of it. No one had cell phones
like the radiation on your brain
yeah,
and stuff like that.
Sure.
Ooh, you're right.
Or sleeping next to it.
I wonder if that affects mental health, too, like constantly being on your phone with the radiation. Because now everybody has these...
There was a while where I was putting mine on airplane mode while I slept, just so I don't have like the Wi-Fi going next to
your
me.
brain.
Yeah, to my brain.
Yeah, I read that somewhere. I just keep my phone away from my bed. Yeah. Because I got my alarm on my phone for when I wake up in the morning.
And all the phones are like blowing up these days and shit, like literally blowing up, starting fires. Remember the Galaxies were doing that? They weren't allowed on flights.
Someone had it under their pillow and it blew up it got so hot. It blew up under their pillow, yeah.
That's terrible.
I never thought about that, the radiation on your brain. I mean, I've thought about it when you sleep, but I'm just talking about when you're just on the phone all the time.
Well, I don't ever put the phone up to my ear because I've read so many articles about how it's bad. And then like being in the car, you're not supposed to put it in you've already had kids, so you don't really need to worry about that. But like women, fertility, like having your phone around
near your thing.
Really?
Yeah, when you're in the car, because you're trapped with it, so you always want your phone like
in like a cup holder or something.
Yeah, in the cup holder away from you, not like on.
Yeah, and they say for men, don't put the laptop on your. But where are you gonna put it? Don't put it directly like on your lap.
He's set with kids though.
Yeah, you're good. You can put the laptop on your lap, unless you're gonna have more. Are you gonna have more kids?
Nah, I think we done. I got 3 girls.
Yeah.
I was a hoe in a past life, so when you're a hoe in a past life,
the karma comes back for you.
Karma. Oh my God. It's all karma. So I got 3 girls, so I think I'm pretty much done.
When did your whole life end? One of your interviews, you said it was pretty. What caused that to come to an end? Because I know you were with your wife and you were like messing around and shit. But what caused you to be like, this is it, I'm done?
I realized I was doing it all for ego. Most of the time when guys are just out here sleeping with a bunch of different women, it's all for ego. Like it's just like you're filling a void, or you're trying to fill inadequate. A cup that has a hole in the bottom. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, I guess, the same type of validation you seek from social media. You sleep with a bunch of different women, it makes you feel like
The man.
You're the man.
So
you
it
know?
was like instant gratification, like after you would be done.
Yeah, but I would always feel so guilty and so bad after the fact.
The guilt for me would not be worth.
Nah, it's not, because I'm not a good liar. Number one, I'm not a good liar, and I don't like lying to people. You know, so it's just like.
And that required you to lie to your wife, because I mean,
yes.
you couldn't tell the truth. Like, yeah, I was just sleeping with whatever.
Yes, and then for me, my anxiety would give me a guilty conscience. So then you start thinking,
they're gonna tell her, they're gonna DM her, they're gonna come to the house and tell her or something.
What is she doing? Now you start looking at her weird, and then you like. That's your anxiety playing tricks on you. You know you out here doing dirt. So now you're trying to focus your energy on her. And she's
pretty innocent for the most part.
I mean, yeah, we've been together 21 years. Of course, she's messed with other guys before. You know what I'm saying? She went to college.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Every girl goes through their whole phase in college. You know? So, yeah. But it's like, to me, if you love somebody, and I'm not saying that that's something that should continue forever, but if you love somebody, if they cheat on you, that's not a deal breaker.
Well, if it was like, if you continued to behave the way that you were behaving, then it would have been a deal breaker.
Yes, absolutely. 100%.
But not like a one-time, one-off thing.
Yes, like we're both too old at this point in our lives to still be out here wilding like that. You know what I mean?
No, and then you want to go home after. I'm sure you're like, oh shit, I need to go home. What am I doing here? Can you
Sounds like too much work for me.
And that's exactly what it is. Like it's too much work to lie and creep around, and like it was a series of different things. Like I remember being in LA one time, and I was laying in the bed with this young lady, and it was early in the morning, and in LA when it's 4 in the morning there, it's 7 over here.
Yeah.
So like my daughter was getting up for school, like my wife was FaceTiming me, and I'm like, oh shit, that's my wife. And the young lady I was with was like, I hide under the covers, right? So
you're like, ew, you have no morals. I have no morals, but you have no morals.
Exactly how I felt.
You're like, ew, we both have no morals. We're trash. We're trash.
Yes.
Get out of my bed. Yeah.
We're both trash, but my God, who have I become? And it was so funny because it's like when I did get off the phone with her, the young lady was like, I'm a good side chick, aren't I? And I was
you're
just
like, you're not my side chick, girl. Please, this is a one-time thing.
Well, it wasn't a one-time.
Oh no, that was your girlfriend then?
Not my girlfriend, but I was doing a little too much. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, you were doing
I was doing enough to make me be like, I am wilding.
It scares me if someone's okay with being a side chick. They have something like up there wrong with them.
I
think
that's kind of the era we live in too, though. Like society's kind of put that out there as well.
Like it's cool.
Yeah, like especially if you're dating a guy that got like money. Like being a side chick has a lot of benefits, cause especially if you're
just
young.
Went like this, like.
I don't agree with you.
No, I'm with you. Listen, I don't agree with.
If I'm with a man, they're obsessed with me only. That's it. No, like.
I agree.
I don't take that lightly.
Most of the side chicks be young anyway, though, so they don't know no better.
Ugh.
You know what I'm saying? Like
they need to learn. They need to get their ass.
How young was your side chick? Like 21? No, I'm playing.
Nah, she was
That's too young.
18.
4 maybe. 24.
That doesn't sound too young to me. That's like.
But I mean, listen, I was wilding though, because I was doing super. Like Chris Rock told me one time. He said every superhero.
Oh, did somebody name drop?
I did. Let me pick that. Chris Rock said to me one time, every superhero is gonna test out their superpowers. And that's truly what I was doing, because when you are growing and evolving, and people know you now, and you got some women that you grew up watching, whether it was television or you saw them in magazines.
Oh, got it.
Now you got
like
the opportunity
fantasy.
to actually,
That's like the Bryson Tiller lyric where he says he's brushing shoulders with like women that he used to watch, basically.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to resist that. It's hard to not do that. And then, once again, I'm not blaming it on nobody, but you have other male influences who'll say things to you like, yo, you gotta have something to tell your grandkids. And these are coming from,
It's not T.D. Jakes telling you that. I know that.
No. It's rappers, like guys that people know. They like, you like, oh, it like, so it's like when you hear that, you feel like this is what you're supposed to be doing, until you realize like every time you do it, you just feel emptier and emptier and emptier. And then like for me, my father and my mother got a divorce because of my father's infidelity. And I saw how that ruined, my household growing up. And I was like, I don't want to do that to my wife and my family.
Yeah.
Is
That's
it easy for
just
you
that
now?
simple. It's easy.
Now it's easy. Like anybody can. Rihanna can be like Charlamagne.
Easy.
What makes it easy now? You're just like not. You just love your wife.
I think because I just been doing the work. Number one, I really love my wife, and number two, I just been doing the work on myself. Like I've been going to therapy for the past couple of years. I've been doing things to actually make me whole, as opposed to doing things that I thought were going to make me whole. Because none of that makes me whole.
I was going to ask what other things you do for your anxiety. Since you're so open about your anxiety, like I know you probably go to therapy.
Therapy was the biggest thing for me. Meditation.
Meditation. So transcendental meditation, maybe.
No, I don't even know what that is.
Oh,
what is that?
Well, you can get someone to like the Bob
Hypnotize
Roth Foundation. There's like so many things you can do. They teach you how to. It's basically. I went to one thing, so I don't know much, so I can't speak on it that well. But I know a lot of people that do it. It just kind of levels you out a little bit.
Yeah, I just do the breathing exercises when I meditate.
I think you'd be really good at yoga.
My wife does yoga. I've tried yoga. I don't dislike yoga. I like yoga. If I had more time to do it on a regular basis, true. I would definitely do it. You know what else I like? CBD oil.
CBD oil.
Oh, yeah,
oh
sure
my God.
So you don't do any of like the Xanaxes or like any of the pills, the anxiety pills?
I've never been on no medication. I tried the marijuana thing, the weed, but that sativa just makes my anxiety go through the roof.
I think those are just cover-ups. Like you heal it for a second and then it just gets worse. Oh. You're not curing anything.
Because the therapy does that, and then like the medication's supposed to like assist you while you're like dealing with your issues. Like, you know what I mean? You're not supposed to just stay on Xanax forever. You're supposed to go to therapy and then take Xanax when you can't handle shit and then heal and then not need it. That's what I think.
And sativa makes my anxiety go through the roof, and indica makes me too into my feelings. So I'm just sitting there stuck, and I'm just like overthinking everything. You know what I'm saying? Like it's weird. So it's just like for me, I don't do no weed at all, but the CBD oil, the gummies, and the stuff you put under your tongue and
the gummies are great.
Oh my God! And then also, man, like living a righteous life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's like if you're not like when I was cheating on my wife, I used to have such anxiety.
There's so much to think about.
Killing me. Yes. And you know you thinking about what if I get this young lady pregnant? You know what I'm saying? What if this young lady blows my spot up? What if my wife finds out? Like, anything like no. Like I've been in rooms with women, and you know how you be in a hotel room and your name be on the TV because it's your room. So.
Oh yeah.
And I remember I caught this one young lady taking a picture of the TV. I'm like,
oh. God.
Did you say get out?
I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? And it's just like I can't take that. Like my heart can't take that.
I think having a balanced life helps with anxiety a lot. Like making sure you're balanced in all arenas.
Oh, yes. I love balance. I believe in righteousness and ratchetness.
Righteousness and ratchetness.
Yeah, you're a really complex person. I feel like there are moments when you're like super spiritual and you can offer spiritual advice, and then other times you're just like really crazy with something you say, and I just can't believe you said it. And the next breath you're like giving some spiritual lifelong advice that I can remember for ages. And I'm like, you know what Charlamagne said? And then I'm like, you're such a complex person. That's probably why, you're a deep thinker, and it's easy to get anxiety when you think a lot. Because that happens to me. I can think myself into like a panic attack if I think too long, and I'm sure the same happens to you.
Yeah, I mean, life isn't as complex as we make it. But when you are truly dealing with the whole totality of you as a human being, and especially living in the world that we live in, like for me, I'm hip hop, and then I love spiritual leaders too. Like I really genuinely do. And I think that's because growing up, my mom was a Jehovah's Witness, my grandmother was a Baptist, my father was a witness, but then my father studied Islam. And my mother was an English teacher, and my mother would always tell me, read things that don't pertain to you. So not only would I be picking up the Source and XXL, but I'd be picking up Judy Blume books and Beverly Cleary books, you know? And then my father was giving me autobiography of Malcolm X, but then I was also in the comic books, and I was in the sports. So I was really into all of these things in a real, genuine way. And I think that that's the same thing now. So it's just like, it does seem like I go in and out of so many different worlds, but that is genuinely who I am. Like I think humans are complex, don't you?
Yeah,
think?
everybody. Well, some people are not. Some people are pretty simple, but I feel like
that's true.
The more intellect you have, the more complex you are, and like only smart people have anxiety. I don't think that anybody who's like super simple can have anxiety because they don't think that deep. So I think
they sleep well.
Yeah, I'm like, sometimes I said to her once, I was like, I wish I was a little bit stupider because I think my life would be more peaceful. I wouldn't think this hard. And she's like, you don't want that. Like,
well, that's what they say. They said that's why they say ignorance is bliss, right?
Oh, that's true. There
I
you go.
agree with that.
Ignorance is bliss because these people really, they're too, dumb to have any worries. They're too dumb to be sad.
Yeah, bless their heart. Right?
God bless them. You know what I mean? They just. And by the way, I think I've been like that before though. I have definitely been a sociopath at some point in my life.
Where you don't care about anything?
I think I cared, but I was really embracing the I don't give a fuckness of life so much that I did not care about the feelings of other people. You know what I mean? Which is weird. Like, cause I've always been a person who genuinely wanted to treat people nice. Like that's just my grandmother instilled that in me a long time ago. Manners will take you where money won't. And I always believed in the law of attraction. You know what I mean? And I always believed that if you want to see how somebody's going to eventually treat you, watch how they treat other people. So I always try to just treat people good. But then there was also a part of me who just, in my mind, I was like, yo, fuck it. Why are you worried about that? If it don't bother me, it shouldn't bother you. But you realize that everybody's not like you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So just because you may say something to me and it doesn't bother me doesn't mean that I can say something to you and it won't bother you. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I've learned how to have more empathy, definitely.
Are you more careful now than with the things you say to people on like the Breakfast Club, for example? Because sometimes, who did you make cry? I forgot who.
Lil Mama.
Did you feel bad?
Oh no.
Yeah, he made her cry.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Yeah.
No, you didn't.
No, and yeah. I didn't back then.
Okay.
But
now.
when you get older and you look back, you're like, man, that was fucked up. You know what I'm saying? But in my mind, it's like I always think. I'm just saying to the person what people are saying on social media. Like,
oh, okay.
Like this is like I'm the person. I'm just a Twitter nigga who gets to talk to the people in person. So
you're one of the trolls.
You're the messenger.
Yeah. At one point I was. So careful isn't the word. I think thoughtful.
Okay, you're a little more aware.
I'm definitely a lot more thoughtful.
Yeah, because it's everything. I think everything you say and do, even in private, in public, whatever, whether people know, it's a seed. So if you believe in karma, then you have to be careful what you say and do to people, especially when you're like you said, you have daughters. You're like, let me not be rude or crazy because this can come back.
Yes.
And to haunt me in another way.
And we don't realize. I think that we're the first generation that's realizing how long these things stick around.
Yeah, with social media,
you know?
Exactly. It all ties back to that.
So it's things people pull up from 10 years ago.
Yeah, definitely.
And they coming at me about now, like, I'm like, first of all, I don't even remember saying that.
Yeah.
Or even like text messages, like screenshots.
Oh my God.
I'm always careful whatever I type.
Old tweets, like you see it happen to everybody, but I'm like, we were in a totally different time, a totally different era. Culture was different. It's ways that we used to talk. It's things that we used to say. It's things that we used to make jokes about that it's not acceptable now, but back then it was fine. Like I always say, like imagine it was a highway 20 years ago and the speed limit on this highway was 70 miles per hour.
Okay.
So you're doing 70, sometimes you do 75, sometimes you do 80 because you know that's what you can get away with.
Right.
But then 20 years later, they've decided to reduce the speed limit to 55 because it was too many fatalities when it was 70, too many accidents when it was 70. We just realized it wasn't good, it wasn't safe. So the speed limit's 55 now, drive accordingly. So those of us who used to be doing 70 back in the day, we're doing 55 now because we don't want to kill nobody. You know what I'm saying? We don't want to be contributing to no accidents, so we're doing 55. But imagine you go to your mailbox and you're getting speeding tickets.
From years ago.
From 20 years ago.
Okay, that's such a good analogy, Charlamagne. You're great at that. Yeah. It makes sense.
You'd be like, nah, this isn't right.
Yeah, that's not fair. This was ages ago. I was allowed to do this.
I was allowed to do it. Now, was it ever, when it comes to social media, was it ever right, the things that we were saying? No, it was never right. But
our eyes just weren't open.
Our eyes weren't open, and culture evolves. It's supposed to.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, that's why I'm not mad at the Me Too era or the Time's Up era. Like it really made men change our culture. Like I grew up in a culture of misogyny.
Yeah.
I grew up in a culture of chauvinism. I grew up with Snoop Dogg saying bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks. What did you expect a young impressionable kid like me to learn? And it's a whole generation of men who grew up like that. We grew up on movies like Porky's.
I didn't watch that, but I'm assuming it's similar.
Probably, that's before you.
Well, even if you watch,
I'm assuming
if you watch movies from like a decade ago, like I was watching Confessions of a Shopaholic 2 nights ago, and it was made in 2009, and the girl, she gets hired by a guy, and they fall in love with her boss, and I'm like, that would never be a thing with a woman in a workplace falling in love with her boss.
Because it's the Me Too movement.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, think about a movie like Belly.
You know what, Charlamagne? I haven't
You never seen Belly with DMX and Nas?
No.
Oh my
I have
God!
homework to do now.
When DMX had a girlfriend, and then another girl called his girlfriend, and she's like, "Yo, you fucking him?" And the girl goes, no, I'm only 16. But I did suck his dick the night before last.
Like, what? I haven't seen that.
Yes. I mean, all right, Back to the Future. I know you've seen Back to the Future.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Boom.
Yeah.
It is a clear sexual assault scene in Back to the Future.
Which one?
When, right before George McFly punches Biff, Biff pulls Marty out the car and jumps in with pulls George out the car, jumps in with the mother, and he's trying to sexually assault her in the front seat.
I don't.
You don't remember that?
Slightly.
But I'm just saying, like, it was all of those.
Right, or like the Family Feud host that used to kiss the women on the Remember what was the white Family Feud host like from ages ago? Yeah, he used to like kiss the women. Like if Steve Harvey were to try that now, it would be
Oh my God.
he'd lose his job. It'd be a wrap.
God.
It'd be over for him.
But I'm saying all that to say, men had to start questioning the things that we did back in the day, you know, that were considered normal back then, but now they're not. And that's why I remember when Teen Vogue had the whole, you know, rape culture thing. We heard that term, like, what is rape culture?
Yeah.
And then we started exploring what is rape culture.
Right.
And when you start exploring what is rape culture and finding out what is rape culture, you got to start being honest with yourself as a man and say, man,
that was kind of rapey.
I've contributed to that in a lot of ways. I was reading Howard Stern's new book, Come Again. The whole first chapter is literally is like he's got parts about that, where he talks about all the old stuff that he used to do, and you know all the old stuff he used to say, and how it was creepy and you know, disgusting and this and that. And this is a guy who's a multi-millionaire who's not even under attack. Nobody's coming at him for the old stuff he said, but he's just acknowledging that he was wrong. And I was like, yo, that's so dope.
As he should.
Do you think Bill Cosby thought he was wrong then, or do you think that he thought like?
By drugging girls?
Yeah, did he think he was wrong, or did he think, like, they want to sleep with me anyway, I'm Bill Cosby, like, may as well, you know?
That's a great question, because I talk about that, like, when it comes to the rappers now.
Yeah.
When you got all these rappers that are doing Molly's and Percocets and alcohol and all of this other stuff. I know that same type of behavior is probably going on right now. Like, you're hanging out with a girl, you just give her a
little
doing
something.
the Quaaludes, you're doing the alcohol, and you think that is what's supposed to happen. So, I don't know. He probably didn't think he was wrong because that was the area he came up in.
Yeah, he's probably thinking like, you know how like the song Future has like Zanny Family. He's like 10 exotic broads and I got him whatever. He's giving them Xanaxes.
Well, he was doing Quaaludes.
What's that?
Quaaludes is like the...
I didn't know what Quaaludes was till I saw Wolf of Wall Street.
I don't know what that is.
You didn't see Wolf of Wall Street?
No, I know what that is. I don't know what Quaaludes are.
Remember when Leonardo DiCaprio did the Quaaludes in Wolf of Wall Street?
It's like a prescription drug that used to be popular, but they stopped making them. Like they're completely illegal.
And that's what Bill Cosby was given.
Okay, so was it painkiller?
It's more of like a hallucinogen, I think.
Damn, that was prescribed?
I just saw it from Wolf of Wall Street.
I'm scared to do hallucinogens. Who knows what I'll see? Because like you would probably be terrible on them too. Have you done?
Nah, I've never done any hallucinogenic drugs. I hallucinated once when I smoked weed.
What'd you see?
I saw myself. Shut
up.
Oh
you were just looking in the mirror.
No. I was driving. Well, actually, I was with Wax. This had to be like 15 years ago. And it was my birthday. I might have been like 24, 25. And I didn't smoke because I was on probation. And I had got off probation. I think I was still on probation, but I wasn't smoking. So he made me. He didn't make me, but we smoked the blunt. Right?
Okay.
And I remember smoking. And then they left. They didn't leave, but they like went downstairs. So I remember sitting in this room by myself, and I just had a super panic attack, right? I'm like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. I gotta go. So I grabbed my keys and I got in the car and I'm driving, and I looked to my right in the passenger seat and I saw myself.
What were you doing?
I was sitting there looking at myself like this.
Stop it, that is hilarious.
And I told myself, I said, slow down.
The passenger seat.
The passenger me told me driving to slow down. So I look at the speedometer, I'm only doing like 50, right? so then me in the passenger seat goes, go faster before the police pull you over.
That was your guardian angel. That wasn't you. That was just you seeing into like the spirit realm and you were the senior guardian angel.
I don't know what it was, but I know when I got out, when I finally did get to my apartment and I parked, I went to the passenger seat and opened the door and started beating on the headrest.
Because
you beat yourself
up. Beat myself up.
Don't beat yourself up.
But that's what happened. So I mean, that's the only time I think I've like.
That was laced with like rat poison or something.
It might have been.
It was laced.
Or I was just me having a really bad panic attack, anxiety attack. I've heard of people hallucinating when they've had
anxiety
panic attacks, though. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never hallucinated. I don't know if I've had like a true panic attack, but I've had like really bad anxiety at some points where I'm just like, okay, these thoughts obviously are just like bullshit, but you can't stop them. But I've never seen anything like in front of me. That must be like a severe thing where you need to go to the hospital.
I've had that. I've had experiences where I've had a panic attack and thought something was chasing me down a dirt road. And my homeboy Scrap, God bless the dead, he dropped me off one night. It was like 2 a.m. And I was high, and I was smoking hash that night. I'm not even gonna lie. So I was like high, like super high. But I was having a panic attack, and I was walking down my dirt road, and something told me to start walking faster. So I started walking faster. Then something told me to start jogging, so I started jogging. So something told me to haul ass. So as I'm hauling ass, I look back and I see these little footprints coming after me in the ground. I'm like, oh shit! So I'm taking off, and right when I jump into my mom's yard, I feel something grab me on my shoulder, and I just scream, and I just throw my arms back like this, and I feel like I hit something, and then I go beating on my mom's door, and my sister answered the door. She's like, what's wrong with you? You look acting like you saw a ghost. And I said, I think I did.
Did you? What was it? Was it nobody?
Oh, I don't know.
It's a dog or something?
It wasn't nothing.
But you felt it.
Hey, your mind. I really think your mind can play tricks on you in that way.
Yeah,
I mean, I do believe in the supernatural. I do believe in ghosts, you know.
Yeah.
But I just think that was another extreme panic attack, and I was on hash.
Have you ever seen a ghost?
I think so.
What?
I think I could have saw a ghost that night. I think I saw a ghost. I was riding my bike down this road called Old Whitesville Road in Moncks Corner, South Carolina, and I saw this like purplish light way down the road, and I'm like, man, what's that? And then the purplish light, it was a light, but then it was like a little flame, like somebody was smoking a cigarette, and I'm like, am I tripping? Maybe somebody got some LA gears on or something, you know what I mean? Whatever.
Yeah.
And then so I smelled the smoke again, and when I smelled the smoke again, it was closer, and then when I looked, it was just a figure standing there smoking a cigarette. And
Were you high?
No, I wasn't even hiding. I was actually on my way to go get high.
Okay.
Because Old Whitesville Road is like where we used to sell dope ass, smoke weed, all that stuff like that. Rest in peace to my man Jarrell. So when I passed the dude, I said, yo, what's up, man? And he didn't say nothing back. Now, mind you, we're from a town that's super small, so like everybody kind of knows each other. Like you don't see strangers and stuff walking down the road. It's not like New York where you walk past people all the time and don't see them. So I just kept riding my bike, and when I looked back, that same purple light I saw was coming, but it was like doing like this.
Maybe it was an alien.
I don't know what the fuck it was.
But did it have a face?
He said it was a guy.
He said
It was a figure.
A
Yeah,
figure.
that's a good question. I'm like, I don't remember seeing a face. It was just a figure of a person, and they were smoking a cigarette.
That's so weird. That's happened to me too, though, where I used to see like a really tall, like 6'6" shadow, like man shadow in my house, and I thought I was tripping all the time. I would look, and then it wouldn't be there. Then I would see it again, and it wouldn't be there. And I was
Here?
like, no, not here.
Oh.
Like in my old apartment, like years ago. And then I asked my ex, who I used to live with at the time, I'm like, this is so weird. I keep seeing like a 6'6" like man figure. He's like, me too. And I'm like, stop.
Really?
Yeah, so we're like, let's go talk to the neighbors. We go downstairs, we knock on the neighbor's door, and we're like, hey, we've been seeing like, I don't know if it's a ghost or a spirit or whatever, but have you seen it? Like, did something happen in this building at some point? And he goes, oh, that's so-and-so. I talk to him all the time. He's on the ceiling right now.
Oh, my
And I was like,
God.
can you stop talking to him? That's why he's in the house.
Really?
Yeah, he's like, oh, he's fine. I talk to him all the time. And then he's like, he's on the ceiling.
It's a spirit?
Yeah, he said it was a spirit that
Wow.
that he communicates with all the time. I'm like, that's demonic.
We stayed in a hotel in Milwaukee. This is when we shot Catfish, me and Wax, and I was asleep, and I kept seeing this big shadowy figure standing over me, looking like it had a gun, right? And I was like, yo, I'm like, and then I was watching the wall, and then I'm like, man, these trees are really active tonight, right? So I was like, man, I'm going to sleep. So I went to sleep, and then I went down to the lobby, and Wax was telling this story about one of the maids came and knocked on his door, and the maids came into his room, and he was like, it's weird, the maid is here so late, and he was like, the maid was talking to him and telling him about the room being haunted or something like. I forgot what
The maid was a ghost.
Wax can tell you the story better than me. So when we got downstairs, the lady at the lobby was like, how are y'all? I was like, we good. And she was like, anything interesting happened last night? And I'm like, no. And then Wax started telling her the story. And so she was like, oh, she visited you.
Stop it.
I'm serious. I'm dead serious. I'm dead serious. And then I told the lady in Milwaukee, I was like, yeah, I was like, it's weird. I said I did see a shadow. It looked like somebody was holding a gun. And she was like, yeah, somebody got killed in that room. Somebody got shot in that room. I forgot how long ago she said, but she said somebody got shot in that room. It was a fight. And I'm like, wow.
Charlamagne, stop. So the maid wasn't a person. It was just
the maid wasn't a person.
But she came into the room and spoke to Wax.
Yes, and Wax. This is why I don't believe the story totally, because Wax said that the lady showed him a phone, and the lady was showing him a phone of drawers opening and closing on their own, like drawers in different hotel rooms, opening and closing on their own.
Did he dream it?
No, I know.
Why would he lie? Why would Wax lie about that?
Yeah, he don't got no reason to lie. And the lady downstairs said, "Oh, she visited you."
Oh, no.
She said that to him.
Maybe it was the ghost visiting him in his dreams.
It's possible. I believe in ghosts.
I believe that supernatural and like the natural world kind of like whatever.
All the time. We're probably surrounded right now.
Yeah, there's like I feel like a spiritual warfare. There's like demonic forces and like angelic forces around us all the time. And I believe we all have like a guardian angel. So like everyone in this room's guardian angel's like here, but there's also like things that are coming against us that they're like shielding us from. I don't think we could handle seeing that.
You ever talk to mediums?
No, I don't do that.
Well, I've had mediums just run up on me randomly.
I had that once. But what happened?
They'll just run up on me and tell me like, yo, you have so many guides around you. Like they was like, yo, you have so many
Nice.
guides around you that are protecting you.
Yeah, I feel like you have a lot of guardian
Your
angels.
aura is probably, they can see it.
That's I get told that all the time.
I've been told that on the street a couple of times. Like this woman like flipped out and she's like, I need to meet you. What? Your aura is amazing. And I was like, are you trying to sell me something? She's like, no, I have to go, but I just good luck.
No, for real.
I was like, okay.
I think like the higher your calling, the more like angelic assistance you need. And I think your purpose is so big and it's just like not even been revealed yet. It's like happening slowly in your life. And that's why you have like all that help. I feel like some people have like maybe one guardian angel. This is just my projection. But I feel like in different seasons of our life, we have more than one, like when you're going through something really tough or like, you know, someone in the family's sick. But I feel like you have so much assistance because like your calling is so huge. And like you need to make it to the end of your life. Like there's no way that you're gonna be able to leave early.
I keep hearing that. That's actually what a medium told me a long time ago.
Wow, that's funny.
Wow.
Then
Maybe
I
you're
just
a medium,
confirmed it. I don't
Lisa.
think I do have like prophetic words sometimes for people where they're like, "How'd you know?" or "You were right about that." But I feel like your purpose is.
I keep hearing
massive.
I keep hearing that exactly what you just said. Mm-hmm. Like your purpose is massive, and that medium told me years ago. The medium said, you know, you're here. She was like, I don't know what you do, but you're here to deliver a message. No, he said, when you get to where you're supposed to be, you're just here to deliver a message.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like so much has happened to you where you could have died, but like it just God wasn't gonna allow that to happen because without you, like a lot of things are not gonna come into play. And I feel like maybe you don't realize that you're like such a big part, like a moving part in a pond, but it's definitely that because I get that feeling from you too. Like I have spiritual discernment, and I know that has to be what it is. Because has it happened to you where you're just like, how did I like make it this far? Because you've said RIP to like a few of your friends just in this podcast. Like you're from a small town in South Carolina, and here you are living this life, and you made it this far. So you know what I mean?
My homeboy who got shot and killed, Jarrell Garnett, he stopped me from getting shot once. Because I was sitting in the backseat of this car, and he was on the outside of the car, and this dude cocked the gun and put the gun in the back seat because he was going to shoot me because I punched his cousin in the face.
Oh, my God.
And I punched his cousin in the face a couple weeks prior. And Jarrell was on the outside of the car, so he pushed the dude. Like, yo, what you doing? And, I mean, it was cool. And they had so much respect for him that they was like, all right, whatever, you know. Mm-hmm. But, like, things like that. But he ended up getting shot and killed, like, a couple years ago. And, I mean, it's just like, yeah, I've been in situations. Like, I remember I got into a car accident once. I was driving my mom's Lumina Caravan, and I was pissy drunk, and I had already driven. If you know anything about South Carolina, I had already driven from Monk's Corner to North Charleston, pissy drunk. Went to my man's house. He wasn't home because I was gonna crash there, and I was like, well, F it. Cause I was dropping this young lady off, and so I said, I'm gonna drive back home. I drove back home, made it home. God let me get all the way home. So I'm in my mom's house. I'm asleep. I start getting pages, you know, like, yo, the block is jumping. Like, you know, I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna go make some money. So I got in the truck, drove. As I'm driving there, the Lumina Caravan runs off the road. I go up this hill, van flies in the air, and it hits a tree, and it hits a tree like this. So this is the underneath, this is the carriage of the.
Okay.
and it hits it like that, and it wraps around the tree.
Oh my
Airbag
God.
and everything comes out. I fly out the back window.
Oh my goodness.
I go to this house and I knock on the door. This guy comes to the door and it's like he looks through me, and he goes, "Oh my God, somebody's out there dead," right? Because he's just looking at the truck. So he comes running out the house, and he's like, "They like, yo, where's the body?" And I'm like, "Yo, I'm right here. Nobody's noticing me or nothing." So I just sit in this ditch, and I'm like, "Y'all must be dead."
You thought you were a ghost.
Yes, I'm like, y'all must be dead. Like, and so they're all looking in the van, and then like 15, 20 minutes later, 'cause my mom lives literally right up the street.
Yeah.
So she pulls up. She's the first person to notice me. She's like, "Oh, he's right there."
Yeah.
And then when the police came, the police said the only reason they did not take me to jail is because they had never seen somebody survive a crash like that and live. And they said the reason I survived was because I was pissy drunk, and
Your
because I
body
didn't.
was.
Yes, and because I didn't have a seatbelt on. So being that I was pissy drunk, the impact didn't kill me.
Yeah.
And being that I didn't have a seatbelt, I didn't get crushed in the van because I flew out the back.
Only God can arrange that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and you don't realize that till later on in life. You know, later on in life, you're like, man, I must be here for a reason.
Yeah,
Because people end up dead for less.
Yeah.
You know?
Falling into the tracks by accident on the train or whatever, like anything.
Absolutely.
That is a crazy story. So you literally thought you were a ghost.
Oh, I thought I was a ghost. I was literally sitting in the ditch like, yo, I must be dead. Because the guy came to the door. I was standing right there. It was like he looked right through me at the van, didn't acknowledge me, didn't pay me any attention, nothing. Then other people came out the house. None of them saw me. The first person to see me was my mother. Like, I was just sitting in the ditch right there.
Because she knew that was her car, and then, like, you were there, and then everyone was, like, focused on the car.
She pulled up screaming.
Oh, my God.
You know what I'm saying? And my pops pulled up, like, when my pops finally pulled up, like, oh, my God. But I was there.
Are your parents still around? Are they still around?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, amazing.
My pops and my mom. My pops, I love my pops. I had that was one of the things that in therapy, it made me, like, therapy made me hate my father for a little while.
Okay, because it's part of the healing process.
Yeah, because I didn't realize that it was a lot of things he did when I was younger that I was still mad at him about. You know, in particular, him leaving my mom for another woman. You know, only because his new wife has grandkids, but he has grandkids. I got 3 kids. My little brother got a kid. You know, my other little brother got a kid. My older sister got a kid. So he's got his own grandkids, but he was treating that woman's grandkids
better than yours.
Yes, you know, and that, like, to me, that was the thing that set me off. But it was the fact that I hadn't even dealt with all the other reasons I was upset with him.
Yeah.
Throughout, you know, the years. But then he told me, like, you know, once he read my second book, Shook One, which is about anxiety and therapy and stuff and mental health issues, he told me Thanksgiving of last year, he said, yo, man, I was reading your book. Or 2 things happened. My cousin killed himself.
Oh, my God.
I didn't know him,
horrible.
though. He's like 26, so I was out and about living my life. I didn't know him. My father knew him. He used to work with my father. So my cousin had tried to kill himself 4 times this past Thanksgiving. He finally made it happen. You know, he tried to take overdose on pills once, didn't work. He cut his wrist once, didn't work. Shot himself in the stomach once, didn't work. This time he shot himself in the mouth, it worked. So God bless the dead. So when that happened, and then my father said he was reading my book, that made him have a conversation with me, and he told me about how he was suicidal, 30-something years ago. Think about all the things that, as an adult, you're unpacking and you're unlearning about yourself. Imagine what they went through. They didn't even get the opportunity to do that. So it's like, you got to be patient with your parents simply because they didn't get the same opportunities to heal that we have.
Right now, and then the older you get, you're like, oh, I get it. Like, no wonder you have like a short fuse. Like, even me, I'm just like, oh, I know why my mom used to freak out when I told her to make a stop after work, because after work you just want to go home, and you're like, no, like, I understand it now. I'm like, okay, now I'm an adult, I get it.
Yeah, I mean, even with kids, it's like, yo, I tried to beat my daughter twice, like spankings. I can't do it.
No, especially not to a daughter. You
no.
feel bad.
Oh, I'm like, so in my mind, I'm like, yo, how much did my parents hate me?
No.
That it was so easy for them to hate me.
It was a different world.
It's
though.
cultural too.
My wife will do it, but I can't do it.
Oh no, especially because you're a man, and then your daughters look at you like, oh, it's daddy.
Yeah,
like
I can't. I tried to do it when my daughter was like 3.
Oh no.
Because she said like, fuck. But it's mad at a 3-year-old. Like, she heard that somewhere, and she don't even know what that means.
She doesn't know what it means.
You know? So it's like, what's the point of even, like, doing that? So it honestly made me feel stupid. And you know how when your parents say, this is going to hurt me more than it hurts you, like, I genuinely felt that, you know? And I'm like, I felt that so much, it's like, I'm not doing that again. It's not worth it. I'd rather have a conversation with her.
When she's 3, you don't say fuck. Yeah.
That's all, you know what I mean? My wife knows I'm a pushover. Like, especially to my girls. I can't tell my little girls no. Like, they are the most spoiled.
That's good, though. That's good.
It is. But then I find myself calling my 10-year-old. I'm like, stop being ungrateful. You're acting very ungrateful right now. Stop thinking about just yourself.
But the bar's so high now. Their boyfriends in the future are going to have to be great because you're making, like, little high maintenance, not high maintenance monsters, but, like, you're setting the bar high for, like, the future boyfriends.
Yeah,
to make
I feel
sure.
like girls that grow up with good daddy relationships usually have, like, healthy relationships.
Yeah, I don't mind that though. Like, I want my daughters to grow up to be the type of young ladies that they aren't impressed by nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, number one, they got their own.
Yeah.
And number two, they've done it all. Like, there's nothing a man can do other than be
Respect
a good
you and
man.
treat you
That's
well.
it.
Yeah.
Respect her, treat her well. That's what's gonna intrigue her in the future. It won't be any things.
I know that you're a big supporter of Cardi B.
Yes.
Do you let your daughters, like, would be a fan of her or look up to her or anything? Like,
Yeah.
I know it's a controversial thing because, like, everyone's like, oh, Cardi B, she's a bad example, but I know you love her.
Yeah, especially if you listen to if you listen to what Cardi is actually saying. That's actually what made me gravitate towards Cardi back in the day. 6-7 years ago, when Cardi used to be on Instagram, used to be putting. She wasn't even putting the medicine in the candy. She was just giving you straight medicine in a raw way, meaning that the first video I saw of Cardi was like, oh, I fuck with her. She did this video where she was talking about the cost of living in New York City. And she was just breaking down how much all of these bills cost and transportation and all of this other stuff. And she was like, how can you pay for all of that with $250 a week working a minimum wage job? So she said, if you don't want to have to be like me, scripting. I think she said, if you don't want to have to be like me scripting, I'll be like one of these girls that's sucking dick and having sex for money. Stay your little fucking ass in school.
Scaring everybody, scaring all the kids.
But I was like, wow, like that is a message I would let my daughter hear because it's the harsh truth, and it's coming from somebody who actually is out there and lived it.
Yeah,
at the time she was stripping and she knew like this ain't the lifestyle I want for myself, and she really broke it down in a very digestible way. So yeah, I would let her hear certain messages from Cardi.
Yeah, no, I'm just asking because, you're, like, very specific about what your daughters can take in. And then Cardi B's, like, getting all this shit all the time. Like, oh, you're a bad example. She's like, well, be a good example to your kids then. Tell them not to look at me. So
We got to stop acting like women are monolithic. We got to stop acting like any group is monolithic. Like, you can have various, types of women. And honestly, you can learn something from all of them, You can learn what not to do sometimes, and you can learn what to do.
Right.
I'm the type of person, I feel like you can learn from a crackhead if you actually pay attention. Like, everybody has lived, some type of experiences that you haven't, and they got some gems to share with you in some type of way. So it's true. Like, I wouldn't stop her from listening to Cardi. I hate when people do things like that, period, when it comes to any of the entertainers. Because number one, they are entertainers, but number two, it's so many different variations of entertainers out here. You got
there's so many,
especially with black women. You got you got your Ava DuVernays, you got your Issa Raes, you got your Lena Waithes, your Tarajis, you got your Tiffany Haddishes, you got your Cardis. You know what I mean? Like you got all of these different type of women. You got your Oprahs, your Michelle Obama. Like it's all types of different women that you can look to and look up to. So like we put ourselves in a box sometimes just by acting like we're one way.
Yeah, that's true. We want to play some games.
Let's do it.
Let's play some games.
Yeah.
Word association, Lisa.
Okay, we're going to play word association game.
Okay.
I say a word, you say the first word that comes to mind.
All right.
Okay. Kardashian.
Kim.
Instagram.
Sucks.
Florida.
Crazy.
Fuzzy.
Teddy bears.
Britney Spears.
Lame.
Lip injections.
Lame.
Britney Spears is lame. You think she's just corny?
Britney Spears, her music is lame. She's not lame as a person because I know that she's gone.
She's
First of
gone
all,
through
it's
shit.
very difficult to be Britney Spears or be any of those superstars.
She's like a living legend, I think.
She is.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to like start as young as she did and maintain her sanity. But when I said lame, all I kept.
You're like, oh, baby.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you sound like her.
Yes. And when you said her name, I saw her dancing.
Yeah.
So when I said lame, it was in reference to her dance moves.
Yeah.
Or her
I see
videos
what you
on
mean.
Instagram that she does. Do you follow her?
No. Why
She
would I
like
follow
tries
Britney
on
Spears?
dresses and she does like this runway walk down her
Yeah,
halls of her big house.
Oh God.
Yeah, like she's going through it though. I think she's been going through it for like a decade and a half.
Yeah.
She can't help it. Like, look, she was one of the biggest superstars in the world. That has to take a toll on you.
Of course.
At some point.
But let's be thankful she's not like gone down the Michael Jackson route. I don't know if you guys
Give it
watched
some
that
time.
documentary.
Yeah. Oh my God, I hope not.
Don't say that.
I
That
think
makes
Michael
me
was
wonder.
innocent.
What?
Yes, I do. I definitely think Michael was innocent.
You think he was innocent?
I think Michael was
What?
completely.
Did you watch the
innocent.
documentary?
Yes. And
Explain your reasoning.
I don't think that we have any reason to believe two guys who perjured themselves on a stand and lied and said Michael never did anything to them to begin with. Like, and they've said that more than once. They said that when they were really young kids. They said that in their 20s. But now you fast forward when they're, the climate is different and it's a market for this.
There's a market for it. That's
So
so true.
don't think that those two guys didn't get paid in some way, shape, or form.
But there's proof.
What's the proof?
Wasn't there like a maid that walked in on them having sex and she came forward? I mean, she wasn't being paid.
I heard that as well, but I'm gonna tell you something. I feel like, and I don't believe in conspiracy theories.
There were
like that.
pictures of the kids naked, I thought.
No.
I didn't watch the documentary, so I can't comment. But
I think that if he got investigated by the FBI for 17 years.
that's crazy.
He was also
17.
Michael Jackson. You have to think about that.
But this is the FBI.
Yeah, Yeah, that's true. You're saying if you're investigated for 17 years, then surely there is going to be.
They didn't find. They said they found porn on his computer, but it was like regular
Oh, like big deal.
adult porn. Like,
Yeah.
They've 17 years and they don't find anything. That's kind of crazy to me. Like 17 years.
And not one thing.
Not one. Like, I mean,
Concrete thing.
not one little boy penis, not no inappropriate phone
Yeah.
conversation. 17 years? I don't know. And I think Michael really was a powerful person, meaning that
He was a target.
Michael owned, like, what they say, 75% of all publishing because he bought the Beatles catalog and then he did
That's
this
crazy.
deal with Sony to where Sony gave them like 50-60% of all publishing. So whenever you see ATV, that's Michael Jackson. So Michael at one point owned like Beyonce's publishing. and
What?
Eminem's publishing at one point. But what he would do is he would get the publishing from these older artists and give it back to him. Like he gave Little Richard back his publishing. He gave Slide and Family Stone back his publishing. Like that's too much power for especially a black man to have. Now, I don't believe in conspiracy theories when it comes to certain things, but that is one I truly believe. I believe that they had every reason to get Michael the fuck out of here. Now, was Michael a weirdo?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yes. He was an extreme weirdo.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I don't think that a person who was actually molesting kids would do interviews where he would say, "What is wrong with sharing your bed with a child?" And he always would say, "I didn't sleep in the bed with the kids though. I would sleep
Right.
on the floor and I'd let the
Right.
kids have my bed." Like he would.
Do you believe that though?
This is why what you're saying makes
don't know.
sense to me, because if you look at R. Kelly, the FBI was not investigating him for 17 years, and now everyone believes, and all these people have come forward, and there's like proof of it. So
Oh,
if the
Kelly's been guilty.
Oh yeah, right. But
Yeah,
like
yeah.
he wasn't being investigated by the FBI for 17 years, and like all this stuff has come out, and like all this proof and stuff. But if Michael was being investigated for 17 years, and there's not 1 ounce of
They'd have
concrete
had him.
proof, then that does make sense that you would think that.
17 years? Kelly is a totally different ballgame though. Like I mean,
He's-
I remember 1998. My barber Divine, Allah salute to Divine. He's not my barber no more, but back then he was. He was like, "Yo, you need to come to the barbershop. We got a goddamn R. Kelly sex tape." I was like, "R. Kelly sex tape?" Now, mind you, this is before
It dropped.
celebrity sex tapes were a thing.
Right.
So to be a young kid in, South Carolina, and you're seeing this like it was a thing, like, oh shit.
It was
like,
the peeing one.
but no, on the tape there was like 5 or 6 different girls.
What?
Yeah,
my
but
God.
it was only one that I know of that was underage, right? But even when you saw her in your mind, you didn't think, "Oh, she's underage." You're just watching it, and you're like,
Yeah.
"Man, that girl look young," but you're not thinking anything of it. But then later on, it was R. Kelly likes to mess with 14-year-old girls, and you're like, "Yo, that girl was mad young on that tape." So we all saw the tape. So and plus R. Kelly, He wrote a song for the 15-year-old girl he married,
Aaliyah.
God bless the dead. The song was called Age Ain't Number the Number.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
There's so much proof there. There's so much stuff to back that up.
He called himself the Pied Piper.
That's scary to me.
Like the Pied Piper was a guy that used to perform music and lead kids out of a village, never to be seen again. Like,
yeah.
So he's been hiding in plain sight. You've been knew what it was with R. Kelly. I don't think Michael was touching them little boys. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
I just don't think so.
No, I think there would be more proof, but then again, maybe I have to watch a documentary and then like draw my conclusions.
I never watched it.
You're not going to?
Nah, I was on vacation.
Wait, you never watched
the documentary?
R. Kelly or Michael Jackson?
Leaving Neverland. I never saw the R. Kelly one either, though.
You need to just watch the documentary and then form an opinion.
No. Everybody keeps telling me
You're
that.
like my mom. She won't accept it. But when you watch the documentary, there's like real proof that will make you believe differently.
But it's also a one-sided documentary, though.
I hear you, but like this proof can't be. I mean,
these guys lied before, and that's my other thing. Like, where are we going in America, where people can get on the stand, commit perjury, and then we believe them later? Like,
and then you change your mind all of a sudden.
Yeah, like what about them? Even what about them is it has integrity to make you say, you know what, I believe them now.
Yeah.
Like they've lied twice before, and for what? Like because you got to think about it. Back then, if they were lying, they were protecting all the other kids that this was possibly happening to. And how do you interview hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of kids?
Yeah.
When only 3 of them ever said Michael did something to him, and one of them was the father was actually caught on tape saying they're going to believe anything we say, so you need to pay up. Like that's all. Like all of that is out there too. Like you could do a whole other documentary as to why Michael didn't touch these kids, and it would look just as it'd be like, wow, he probably really didn't touch.
It's like a whole court case, like just like both sides. But why are people coming for Michael now? He's gone.
Because these people finally came forward because they were like in love with him. Imagine like it was almost like a relationship, like you with your boyfriend, you with your boyfriend, you with your wife. Like you wouldn't want to sell that person out because it's like it's not like a fling. It's like a true love that you have for that person, and especially after they pass away. But then it's finally like where you're like, oh my God, this is affecting my life. Like they didn't admit it. Like in the documentary you learned they didn't admit it to themselves. And for the longest time until finally one day they're like, oh my God, I'm the victim of rape. Like
I think that the documentary happened now because it's profitable to do those kind of documentaries.
Yeah, the R. Kelly one and like all that stuff.
After the success of Surviving R. Kelly, they wanted. Listen, I've had agents say to me verbatim, "What documentary can we do, like the Surviving R. Kelly doc?" You know, I know this is before HBO even put out the Michael Jackson. I know HBO's doing the Michael Jackson one, and I used to get so mad, and I'd be like, "Elvis, motherfucker." That's what you can do. You know what I'm saying? Go get some. Go get Elvis. Elvis is. I bet y'all won't do that one. Like, you know what I mean? Like there's. You can go get some of these. Other celebrities that are way bigger.
Yeah.
Like Elvis was out here wilding,
marrying a young woman.
Married everything that those guys did. Everything R. Kelly did and Michael Jackson did, allegedly, Elvis did. Married a 14-year-old girl. Oof. Made statements saying he wouldn't date a girl over 15. Like
what?
Yes.
I didn't know that. Okay.
You can. It's all Googleable. Do your Googles. You know
Google
what I'm saying?
research, yeah.
But the only reason I feel like they did a documentary is because it was profitable to do so. It's capitalizing off the era that we're in right now. That's it.
That makes sense. If there's a market for it, then everything's about money. It's crazy.
Absolutely.
And when something doesn't make sense, it usually has to do with money. When I'm like, what is that? That doesn't make sense. I'm like, there's some money involved there.
Ooh, I like that. I'm gonna start saying that. If it doesn't make sense, then it's probably got something to do with dollars.
Yeah, it's true.
Yes.
Because sometimes you'll just like think about something and you're like, what? I don't understand. And you're like, there's definitely some like underlying like monetary incentive going on there for someone. Like,
you ever had somebody try to explain something to you that don't make sense, and they just end up instead they'll just stop explaining and be like, "I'm getting paid for it, bro," and you be like, "Oh, okay." Right.
Yeah, exactly my point. Yeah.
So we have one would you rather question.
Okay.
So would you rather be Donald Trump's assistant or Tomi Lahren's makeup artist?
Tomi Lahren's makeup artist.
I knew you were gonna say that.
Why?
Because I don't have anything to do with her policies. I don't have anything to do with her
That's true.
agenda. I don't even really have to talk to her. You know what I'm
Plus,
saying?
you could fuck up her makeup every day.
Yeah, and I'm just in there doing a service. Like she sits down, I say hello, I do her makeup, she keeps it moving. Donald Trump's assistant, I'm really complicit.
Involved.
Yeah, with the BS that he's doing.
What if you had to be her co-host versus his assistant?
Nah, they tried to make that happen before.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
How could they think you would say yes to that? Ratings.
Yeah, I don't think they thought I would say yes. It was after, because I didn't know who Tommy Lauren was until she went in on Beyonce and the Black Panthers. And then, like, everybody on Twitter was hitting me up like, yo, you got to give this Tommy Lauren girl Donkey of the Day. I didn't know who she was. And so when I went and heard what she said, I'm like, oh, she's all the way off base when it comes to her critique of, you know, Beyonce and Jay-Z, but most importantly, the Black Panthers. You know what I mean? Like, she was saying that the Black Panthers were basically like the KKK. And I'm like, that is so far from the truth. Like,
She's so annoying.
She says some wild stuff.
Yeah, but I just think she really didn't know, to be totally honest with you. So I went on her show. After I gave her Donkey of the Day, they invited me to go on her show, so I did. And I went on her show, and I schooled her to who the Black Panthers was. I schooled her, you know, to what Beyonce was actually protesting, which wasn't, you know, the police. She was protesting police brutality, you know? And it was cool after that, but like that was like a viral moment. So it was just like you had some executives at Viacom who thought that, you know, me and her would make a good show because it's two totally opposite people. And this was about 4 or 5, now I don't know how long ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago. So this was like, you know, like the first take sort of, what's the show, Undisputed.
Yeah.
Like they thought it could be something like that from a political perspective. And she came to New York, and she was supposed to come on Breakfast Club, but then she went on Trevor Noah, and it wasn't a good showing for her. So they canceled her Breakfast Club interview, but we had the meeting scheduled at Viacom. So I remember, I never forget, every woman in the building was like, Charlamagne, you better not say yes to this show. You better not do this show with Tommy. I'm like, I'm not going to do the show with Tommy.
You would get dragged anyway for that.
Exactly. But I'll entertain a conversation with anybody. Right, and plus, I did want to meet her face to face because I wanted to know if she actually believed the stuff she was saying, or was she just doing it
to be viral?
To be viral.
What do you think?
I think she's just doing it to be viral.
Really?
You know? Yeah, and I told her that in the room. I said, you know, I feel like, you know, I said, if this is really who you are, if this is authentically who you are, fine. You know, we can always agree to disagree, but if this isn't who you are, this plane is going to land, but the wheel's not going to come out.
Yeah.
You know? And I think that don't last.
No.
You know, even though people still know her name and they still talk about her, I don't think it's the same as it was a few years ago. And she's on a bigger platform now. She's on Fox. But I think that people just don't take what she says seriously.
Yeah.
You know? Now, they still get mad at her, which I still think is the stupidest shit in the world because I've said it over.
She's trolling.
It's like a joke when I watch anything she says. It's a joke for me. I'm laughing.
Yeah, and I've said it a million times. We uplift things with outrage instead of uplifting things with love. Like, yeah, and I don't even want to put Candace on in that because I actually hear some things Candace says sometimes, and I'm not gonna front. I do agree with her often. You know, not often, but enough. You know, I don't think that she's one of the ones that's just trolling. You know what I mean? Like I think you got some people out there that are just trolling. I don't necessarily think she's one of those.
Do you think Logic was trolling you when he put you in the song? He was like, I'll make it whatever shit about the Breakfast Club because whatever.
Yes, I definitely do. I mean, the name of the song is Clickbait.
Oh, so he's, So,
you know,
there you go.
Because I'm sitting there listening to the song and I'm like, I never called you homophobic. Why would I call Logic homophobic?
Yeah, where'd that come from?
Like where exactly? Where would I call Logic homophobic, and why would I call Logic homophobic? He's never done anything that I've seen that's been.
And why would you talk about him? No offense, like why would you be talking about him?
That's my other point. First of all, Logic's been on the Breakfast Club before. We did have an awkward exchange once that the internet has manipulated because he was on air and he was randomly talking about his sister being raped. Like he just started talking about it, like, which is a strange thing to just start talking about.
Yeah.
So I said to him, well, who raped your sister? And so the internet, instead, they took the context of him talking about it. So the clip starts off with, who raped your sister? And he's like, oh, I don't want to talk about it. So everybody's like, what kind of question is that to ask? So it looks like I just randomly.
It looks like you brought it up.
Absolutely. So that was awkward, you know, and I can see him being upset at that maybe 5 years later.
Right.
But I never called him homophobic. Like, and he said that Charlamagne is shameless. So?
But everyone knows that.
like,
That's not news.
We all should be. We should all be shameless. Like I'm shameless with anything that happens in my life. I'm shameless about going to therapy. I'm shameless about being, fucked up in the head sometimes. I'm shameless about a lot of things. Like I don't get embarrassed easily. So like I didn't understand. It was very illogical of Logic.
It was very illogical of Logic. Yeah.
To do that. I didn't understand any of it. But listen, he had an album coming out, so I just chalked it up to he's just trying to sell records. Like I guess it worked for a day or so.
Yeah, because I wouldn't have found out about his album otherwise because you posted the thing. And then
absolutely, he canceled all his press this week too.
Because of you?
That's what I was told. He's supposed to do press in New York all this week.
Damn,
he's supposed to do Today Show. He's supposed to do Elvis Duran. He was doing Angie Martinez. He was doing Genius with my man Rob Markman. What else was he doing? I don't know. He was doing a lot of different things in New York, but he canceled his whole press run.
Wow.
For New York, which I thought was stupid. And they was like...
He just wants attention for canceling it now. He wants the feud to continue.
Well, he didn't announce that. I just heard that through the grapevine.
Interesting.
Yeah, the industry is very small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why you got to be careful who you say things to.
Absolutely. And about, yeah,
that's true. It's better to not gossip.
Yes.
Well, thank you for coming. I seriously appreciate it.
Thank you, Lisa and Camille.
I wasn't sure you were going to have time for us when I texted you. I was like, oh, he's probably too busy.
I mean, you the homie, Lisa. Like,
yeah, no.
Like we're friends. Like,
no, I told her. I was like, no, he's my friend. I think he's going to come on. And then you said, sure. And then I was happy.
Yeah, I just had to make time for it. But, I will always make time for my people. Like, me and Lisa go back to Guy Code,
MTV2.
MTV2.
345 Hudson Street.
345 Hudson Street, baby.
I can't believe that's such a long time ago.
345 Hudson Street.
Yeah.
That was like,
That was like 7 years ago.
Yes, 2012. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my, Lisa, my people. So this is easy.
Yeah. No, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
I'm glad you like the pizza.
One slice.
More.
Nope.
No.
Nope. I was in Disney World for the past 5 days. I was ODing all on a bunch of junk. I shouldn't have even ate that, but you know what? I did it, and I'm taking my fat ass to the gym as soon as I leave here.